Welcome to the Predictable Revenue Podcast, where frontline sales leaders teach you how to build and scale an outbound sales team.
So I talked about, the importance being that very first thing is getting clear on your mission. The second thing being, what are the fundamentals that are going to be required to move that forward? And the third one being, and what those gaps are that you want to fill. The next step from that is, what are some of the strengths you already have on your team that you can leverage, right? Of those fundamentals, we talked about the importance of zeroing in on where your gaps are so you can hire and fill those gaps strategically and intentionally. But of course, the upside is you're going to have a lot of strengths already on your team. Acknowledge those, recognize those, reward those, bring those out more, and let people play to their strengths. So what are some of the strengths that you can leverage that are already on your team? You'd be surprised how many people have a lot of strengths that they've been kind of put into a role where they barely get to use those. So really kind of using that again as a lens to say, this is somebody who's really good over here. Why on earth do we have them in this position? Because a lot of times you have the right talent, they're just not in the right seats, right? So there's that piece as well. And then you want to look at, what are some of the obstacles that are standing in your way of achieving your mission, and how can you turn those into opportunities instead? And again, it may be simply kind of reorganizing who you've got, focusing on what, so that they're more aligned with their strengths. And then I can't emphasize enough, especially when you're starting out, not just as a startup, but as you're starting to do your first scaling, your first growth, identifying quick wins. Yes, it is important to know what long-term success looks like. So you know it when you see it and you celebrate it. But there are quick wins that are going to help you get some momentum and propel people, forward, because it is a lot of work in the beginning. I mean, just putting a startup in and surviving, those awful statistics of failure rates of startups, right? And overcoming that is hard work. Well, now you have to not rest on that and say, well, we're just going to operate in startup mode, for the next 30 years until the founder dies. Well, that's not helpful, right? We've got to pivot. We've got to evolve. And so, quick wins along the way that infuse you with a little bit more energy to keep going are really important. So if you picture mission being kind of the groundwork, that clarity, you get your fundamentals right, you leverage your strengths, you turn obstacles into opportunities, and you identify quick wins. That spells out flow. You've got fundamentals, leverage, opportunities, wins. I typically do that in more of a workshop setting. I know I just went through that kind of fast, but if you play this back, you kind of slow it down, or even, you want to hop on a call with me for 30 minutes, I can do a deeper dive for no cost. If you do that, what you end up kind of mapping out is literally not to get punny about it, but a flow chart, right? A roadmap for, if this is our mission and now we're super clear on that, what are some of those first steps we need to take? There's a lot, obviously, that comes up after that. Challenges, as you evolve and you get to a higher level in your business, you're going to come across higher challenges. You're going to come across more complex obstacles. You're going to come across, issues and opportunities. Again, eternal optimist, right? So looking at those as opportunities to kind of kick up your game and innovate. But if you start with that mission clarity and then you kind of map out your flow chart for how you're going to get there, if you take some time to just do that and involve as many people as you can in that process, because people support what they help to create, you're going to save yourself time down the line of having to try to go out and sell that to your employees. If they were involved from the beginning of, building your map toward the future, there, you've already gone up many, many steps in terms of building buy-in and really increasing their engagement and their commitment. So those are just a couple of quick, not so quick. They're simple, they're not easy, right? But things that you can do to try to prepare for that next stage. So, I mean, between that and the Venn diagram, boy, Sarah, we're giving them a lot of homework to do.
We are. But I think that's so vital what you just said about kind of people wanting to work towards the thing that they've built with you, it totally
Yeah.
makes sense, because you can't expect an employee who doesn't really understand what the ultimate goal is to, work above and beyond at what they're doing to get there if they don't even know where they're trying to go.
Right. Because they don't know what direction is beyond, right?
Yes.
If you want them to contribute beyond can go in 360 different degrees. So
Right.
which direction actually helps you go forward?
Exactly. Yeah. And as you said, it's simple, but it's not easy to execute.
That's right.
Which is why I don't think you're losing any consulting, because people are
All
going
right,
to need
cool.
your help to actually do this.
All part of my plan.
Yeah, exactly.